My name is Toby Birdsell. I am currently living in Northern Virginia in a town called Lorton, right outside of Washington, D.C. And I'm an Army officer, and I've participated in 3 Ashcroft deals over the last 3 years or 2 years. So first it was with Woodland Key down in Florida. You had a Vista 121, I think in Texas, and then the most recent one was the Value Add Fund through Ashcroft. I chose it because in my mind, multifamily significantly lowers a lot of the vacancy risk, associated with investing with real estate. And then also it enables, like the pros, like Frank and Joe to be able to focus on those efficiencies, and being able to provide the best returns to their investors through multifamily. So I passively invest in real estate because I don't want the time commitment to have to actively pursue it myself, whether it was owning single family houses, or even if I was a multifamily investor and I was doing it directly. So I research and investigate the pros, and then I leave it to them to do their work. For me, it comes down to just wanting to have a diversified portfolio of all my investments. So I started, investing, back when I was in college. So like I was 18 is when I started, and it has historically been through index funds, and investing in like retirement accounts. But over the years, investment approach has matured enough to where I wanted to have real estate, to be able to have that diversified element, within my portfolio. And REITs, real estate investment trusts, in my mind, are relatively tax inefficient. And there's only so much that you can throw into your Roth IRA every year. So I wanted to be able to take advantage of real estate, being able to do it at a larger scale, but being able to take advantage of the tax benefits associated with it. So that's where Ashcroft's been able to fill that void. I haven't had any objections with Ashcroft over the last couple of years. The main thing early on, and I'd assume the people who watch this video, will want to get out of it is making sure you do your market research and your due diligence on who you choose as a syndicator, to when it comes to real estate. So I've had no objections. I've had tons of questions, but in every instance, I've been able to reach out to the team and I've been able to get timely responses. I've been very satisfied with Ashcroft. Everything that they have projected or stated that they do, they have followed through on their word. So I've been a very satisfied partner with them. What I appreciate most about Ashcroft is just their transparent approach to communication. And I discovered and learned about Ashcroft through Joe Fairless's podcast, and then going to the website, talking to Travis Watts and others. But any questions I've ever had about the company or their projects or their efforts, they've always been extremely transparent and quick to communicate. Both just when I was researching them before I became an investor, and then through the deals that I've had with them over the last couple of years. And these are the 3 that I've shared with, with friends, who have sought out, different investment approaches. So number one is, I think Ashcroft is an extremely well-run real estate syndication. I've researched a bunch. I've invested with a handful of them, but I think between Frank and Joe and the team that is with Ashcroft, I don't think there are many, if any, that are better than them. I think they are the pros at what they do when it comes to executing multifamily syndication. So I think that's one of them. They have something I don't got a capacity to be able to do by myself. The second is just that abundance of communication and that transparency that they provide. So I think that's very important for investors. So what I like about them is that they do provide a monthly, distribution, depending on, regardless really if you're, investing in like the A or the B funds, but you're going to get that constant drip, within your account. You also get monthly, updates, from the different properties. So you're able to see, what's happening, what they're doing when it comes to recapitalization projects, how close they are when it comes to meeting or exceeding the projections, that they have when it comes to vacancies, turnovers, rent rolls, all that information. So if you want to be able to get into the weeds, you're always able to look at it. And then also what I addressed before is that, when I got questions, they've always been extremely responsive. And this is with deals that I've invested in already, where they already got my money, or new deals, when I'm just curious about some of the attributes that they're researching with the market analysis. So communication would be number two. Mm-hmm. And then the third one, and I think this is the most important one, just when it comes to, investing or finding partners, is a level of trust. I trust Ashcroft Capital and the team, when it comes to the money that I invest with them over the last couple years, and as I invest with them in the future. I know that when it comes to real estate, there is no sure thing. There is no guarantee associated with it. But with all those risks, whether it's in, market risk, inflationary risk, geographic risk, vacancies, tenant risk, all those different risks, I trust that, that the Ashcroft team is willing to not only be able to manage it and do what's in the best interest of, but also looking after the best interests of their investors. So that'd be the third thing, is that I trust them. The results, just in general, I've been able to get closer to achieving financial independence. And I think more importantly, just being able to, spend the time on the activities that I want to do on. So in that grand scheme of things, with life, Ashcroft has been a major element of that. There are a lot of people like me who want to invest in real estate, and over time, when they looked at index funds or stuff associated with the stock market or stuff that's on the public markets, there's usually a lot of publicly available information. It's a little bit harder, especially when it comes to accredited investors, when it comes to some of these limited partnerships. So if I can share any information to other investors to help them make an informed decision, I'd like to be able to do that for them. I have a long-term investment strategy, and part of it is real estate syndications, and Ashcroft hasn't let me down. And as long as they continue not to in the future, I would absolutely continue to invest with them. When I was still researching Ashcroft and a whole bunch of other multifamily syndications, I had signed the PPM and put in the initial contribution, and I think at the time that was $50K. So it was a big investment on my part, just as I was learning about real estate syndications. But this deal, and I can't remember what the name of it was, but for some reason they ended up not closing on it. Whether it was associated with financing or doing their inspections or the due diligence, but for some reason they didn't close on that project. But what impressed me the most was the note that Joe sent back to all the investors, describing, the circumstances behind it, what had happened with the deal, and then what their approach was going forward. But even more importantly was them stating that, hey, the money that you have sent to us and that we have received, and it's in trust or wherever it's at, you will be receiving that back immediately. And I think even before I finished reading the email, I had that $50K back in my account. So to me, that reinforced the trust, and the mentality and the approach that Ashcroft has when it comes to investors and making sure that they're being placed first.